What if the most powerful story of 1881 wasn't written in a book, but struck into a single silver coin? A coin that traveled from saloons to steam trains, passed through the hands of dreamers, soldiers, and survivors, and somehow survived. Time itself. It's not just metal, it's mystery. Why was it made? Who held it? And how did it become one of the most iconic pieces of American history? The 1881 Morgan silver dollar isn't just a relic. It's a time machine you can hold. And once you know its story, you'll never look at a coin the same way again. The 1881 Morgan silver dollar is more than currency. It's a symbol of resurrection. Born out of the Bland Allison Act, it was the government's promise to inject silver back into the economy. But it became so much more than an economic policy. It became a pocket-sized monument to American grit, crafted not just to trade, but to tell, to testify, to remind every miner, every farmer, every immigrant holding it that liberty had not vanished, it had evolved. Think about who may have held this coin. A Civil War veteran opening a new business. A railroad worker sending wages back home. A young mother buying cloth in a frontier town. A freed man casting his vote for the first time. Each of them, unknowingly, carrying a coin that mirrored their journey. Hard, resilient, and enduring. Because in 1881, this dollar wasn't just minted from silver, it was minted from a moment in time when America stood between who it had been and who it was about to become. And today, over a century later, when we hold the Morgan dollar, we don't just hold history, we hold a nation's second chance, preserved in silver. Let's talk about something that sets hearts racing in the world of coin collecting: rarity. You see, the 1881 Morgan silver dollar isn't just valuable because of what it's made of, but because of where it came from, and how few like it remain. Each coin carries a tiny letter on its reverse, a mint mark, no larger than the width of a thumbnail, yet it holds the power to rewrite the coin's entire story. Here's why. In 1881, the U.S. Mint struck Morgan. Dollars at 4 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark, the standard bearer. New Orleans, O, where silver flowed through southern fingers. San Francisco, S, with precision-struck beauty. And then there's the crown jewel, Carson City, CC, the smallest, rarest, and most sought after. Why does Carson City matter? Because the Carson City Mint, nestled in the silver-rich mountains of Nevada, was only operational for a short time. Its output was limited, its coins scarce, and its legacy legendary. In 1881, it minted fewer than 297,000 Morgan dollars, compared to the millions struck elsewhere. That's like finding one diamond in a mine full of quartz. To hold an 1881 CC Morgan is to hold a piece of the Wild West itself, a coin forged in the shadow of mining camps, saloons, and stagecoach trails. A coin that may have been passed between gamblers in Virginia City or tucked away in a banker's safe beneath desert skies. And here's the thrill. 2 Morgan dollars can look identical at first glance. Same silver, same shine. But flip it over, and that little CC, it transforms the coin from common to coveted, from currency to treasure. In today's collector's world, mint marks are more than letters. They're portals. Each one tells you where the coin began, how far it's traveled, and why it matters. And so, the 1881 Morgan silver dollar doesn't just carry value in silver. It carries value in scarcity, in origin, and in the stories it preserves. One mint mark at a time. This isn't just a coin. It's substance, it's strength, it's silver. Struck in 90% pure silver and 10% copper, the 1881 Morgan silver dollar weighs in at a solid 26.73 grams, nearly a full ounce of precious metal. And that was no accident. In an era when America's economy was rebuilding itself after war, panic, and inflation, citizens didn't want fragile faith. They wanted real value, the kind of value you could trust, the kind that didn't rust, fade, or burn. That's what silver offered: permanence. The Morgan wasn't a token. It was a promise cast in metal. And here's the truth. This wasn't just silver from anywhere. It was silver pulled from deep inside the American frontier, from the Comstock Lode in Nevada, one of the richest silver deposits the world had ever known. This was domestic silver, refined by the sweat of miners and the fire of smelters, then minted into coins that would shape the economy of a growing nation. Even the copper content had a purpose, added to strengthen the coin, giving it durability, to survive decades of circulation without losing its shape or shine. This balance of purity and resilience made the Morgan dollar not just beautiful, but battle-tested. Now imagine hundreds of thousands of these silver dollars clinking in. The vaults of banks, passed across dusty counters in general stores, or exchanged in saloons under flickering lantern light. Each coin not only had value, it was value. And today, that silver content has only grown more precious. As silver continues to rise in global demand, the intrinsic metal value of the Morgan becomes a living investment. A coin that's as economically relevant today as it was in 1881. So when you hold a Morgan dollar, you're not just holding a collector's piece. You're holding authentic American silver, mined, minted, and measured in truth. The artistry of this coin begins with a name: George T. Morgan, a young British engraver brought to the U.S. Mint in search of fresh ideas and bold creativity. What he delivered was nothing less than revolutionary. At a time when American coins often leaned on classical, almost mythical depictions, Morgan chose a new muse, a real American woman. Her name was Anna Willis Williams, a Philadelphia schoolteacher. She wasn't royalty. She wasn't a goddess. She was the face of the everyday American dream, strong, proud, and dignified. And in choosing her, Morgan made a silent declaration. Liberty is not distant. She lives among us. She is us. The obverse we see her, Lady Liberty, crowned with wheat and cotton, the twin symbols of North and South, once divided, now unified. Her eyes gaze forward, her expression calm but commanding. It's a face of purpose, not poetry, forged in the fire of a young nation still defining itself. Flip the coin, and the reverse stirs with strength. An American bald eagle spreads its wings with unmistakable grace. In one claw, an olive branch, offering peace. In the other, a bundle of arrows, prepared for defense. Together they form a perfect balance, compassion with courage. Surrounding the eagle are the timeless words, United States of America. In God we trust. And of course, $1. Because even beauty must carry weight. Look closer, and the level of detail is astonishing, from the individual feathers on the eagle's wings to the delicate curls in Liberty's hair. Every inch of the coin reflects Morgan's dedication to depth, symbolism, and clarity, traits that have made his design not just iconic, but eternal. Over 140 years later, the Morgan dollar remains one of the most beloved coin designs in American history. Not because it tries to impress, but because it dares to represent. So when you admire the 1881 Morgan silver dollar, you're not just looking at a coin. You're looking at a vision of America, not idealized but realized, in silver, in strength, and in art. A single 1881 Morgan silver dollar, freshly struck in Carson City or New Orleans, still warm from the minting press, gleaming, perfect, untouched. Now imagine where it goes. Does it ride in the pocket of a young rancher in Nevada, trading silver for supplies at a general store under the glow of oil lamps? Or does it jingle in a banker's register as railroads, rise across the Great Plains, steel, smoke, and ambition driving America westward? Maybe it's handed across a bar in a frontier saloon, slammed on the table in a high-stakes poker game. Or carried in the leather satchel of a Civil War veteran, A man rebuilding a life, building a home, carrying memories too heavy for words, and a coin heavy with history. This coin, this very one, may have passed through hundreds of hands. Each time, a silent witness to joy, to struggle, to dreams, to a wedding dress bought, a debt repaid, a life restarted. Think about the hands it's touched, calloused from plows, soot-stained from coal, trembling from age, small maybe, a child's hand, marveling at its shine, and then, as time rolled on, the coin disappears, lost, forgotten, tucked in a drawer, buried in a box, slipped beneath floorboards, or into the folds of a veteran's coat pocket that hasn't been worn in decades. Years pass. Decades. The country modernizes. The people change. But somewhere this Morgan waits, quietly, patiently, for someone to recognize it not just as silver, but as a story waiting to be heard again. And when it finally emerges, cleaned or tarnished, sharp or worn, it's like discovering a letter from the past, unsent, unspoken, unfinished. Because a coin like this doesn't just carry value, it carries witness. It has seen America rise, fall, rebuild, and remember. So today, when a collector holds an 1881 Morgan silver dollar, they're not just holding a relic, they're holding a survivor, a traveler, a storyteller, a tiny round time machine. And the most powerful thing? Its journey isn't over yet, because now it's part of your story too. Your story too. Yes, it has market value. In today's world of fluctuating currencies and fleeting trends, the Morgan silver dollar remains remarkably stable, a foundation of real worth. A circulated 1881 Morgan may trade hands for around $40 to $100, but step into higher grades and the story deepens. An 1881 coin from the Carson City Mint, graded MS 65 and above, can command thousands of dollars at auction, and rightly so. You're not just buying silver, you're buying scarcity, condition, and story. You're buying a piece of a disappearing world. And here's the thing, its value is only the beginning. Look closely. The design isn't random. It's layered with meaning. This was not a coin designed for royalty or aristocracy. It was designed for you, for every American walking dusty roads, building railroads, farming fields, and building futures. On the obverse, Lady Liberty isn't the cold, idealized goddess of ancient Europe. She's modeled after Anna Willis Williams, a real woman, a school teacher, a working American, a symbol of what liberty looked like in our language, strong, grounded, and forward-facing. She wears a crown of cotton and wheat, crops of the North and South, a silent but powerful nod to unity after Civil War. Flip it over, and the eagle meets your eye, wings wide, strong, alert. In its talons are arrows and an olive branch, prepared for peace but never unready for defense. Around it the words, United States of America and In God We Trust aren't mere slogans. They are declarations of values that shaped a nation in the making. But a coin is more than design, it's condition. A Morgan in MS 66, condition is like holding time itself in suspended animation. The details are razor sharp. The luster dances under light. Liberty's cheek is untouched, the eagle's feathers crisp and proud. Grading tells us more than technical quality. It tells us how far this coin has traveled, or how carefully it's been protected. But don't let wear fool you. Even a circulated Morgan, smooth from years of passing through countless hands, has its own magic. Each nick is a fingerprint. Each scratch, a mark of life lived. It may have paid for a train ticket across the Rockies. It may have crossed a dusty saloon counter under oil lamp light. It may have been slipped into a child's palm as a Christmas gift, heavy with wonder. Condition doesn't erase value. It transforms it. Now, listen. Literally, listen. Drop it gently on a wooden table or a granite counter. Clink. That sound? That's the song of the 19th century. No other coin sounds quite like it. There's a purity, a musical ring, a crisp echo of confidence. That ring is the voice of real silver, 90% pure, forged from the mines of the American West, mixed with 10% copper for strength, resilience, and survival. The feel of it, thick-rimmed, reeded, solid, speaks a language we've almost forgotten. In a world of plastic cards and digital codes, a Morgan silver dollar was felt before it was trusted. It had weight, both literal and symbolic, and in 1881, that mattered. But perhaps the most powerful truth of all is this. The Morgan silver dollar is not just about what it's made of, it's about what it means. This is a coin that lives in memory. Ask any collector and you'll hear a story. My grandfather gave me one when I was 10. My father carried one in his wallet until the day he died. My great-uncle pulled it from a cigar box wrapped in velvet. It's not just a coin. It's a connection, a tangible thread that ties generations together. Coins like this don't just pass through time, they carry it. They become heirlooms, rituals, carriers of personal mythologies. And there's something else. Something bigger. In a world where wealth is often invisible, stocks, crypto, digits on a screen, the Morgan silver dollar reminds us that value was once something you could hold, hear, and hand down. It reminds us of when America was still becoming. Rough-edged, ambitious, imperfect, but striving. This coin jingled in the pockets of cowboys, miners, immigrants, and soldiers. It traveled across oceans, railroads, and generations. It has seen things we've only read about. To own a Morgan silver dollar is not just to own silver. It is to own part of a story, part of a country's heartbeat. And in that story, you now have a role. Because once it's in your hands, it's no longer just a coin from 1881. It's your coin, your connection, your legacy to protect and to pass forward. So I invite you, whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who's never looked twice at an old coin, to pause. To hold a Morgan silver dollar and really feel it. Not just its weight in silver, but its weight in time. Ask yourself, what stories has it seen? What hands has it passed through? And now, what chapter will you write into its journey? Because these coins, they don't just belong in museums or vaults. They belong in stories, in families, in hearts. They are echoes of America's rise and reflections of our resilience. Start with one. Let it spark a curiosity, a connection, a legacy. Preserve it. Pass it on. Remind the future that history doesn't live behind glass. It lives in your hands.